Hey yo, Beer, you want to come outside? You already know, man. You already know what time it is, bro. It's Wealthy Sibling, man. We on episode 40. We on episode 40. Um, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the journey. I'm loving what it is that we build here. Thank you for everybody that listens, that hosts the show, that tunes in, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on iHeart Radio. Shout out to iHeart. That host our show, Wealthy Sibling. What are we here to do? Hey man, you already know what we're here to do. We're here to change our family's money story, right? Every person that you hear that has been a guest will be a guest, and especially for me, we on a journey, man, and a lot of us who take this journey who become something, right? So wealthy isn't just attached to money. For those who may be tuning in for the first time, whether you listen in a car, you at work, at night, whatever the case is, watching on YouTube. Shout out to Google. Um, it's about the whole package, man. It's about the journey from the beginning, the journey to where we are. But wealthy doesn't just mean money, because a lot of our community, especially in the culture, man, it's attached to success, right? So what is the journey of the successful family member, relative, successful sibling? What is that journey like, man? The good, the bad, the before, the now, and the after, right? When we meet you ahead, right? When we do the recap. So let's get into it, man. Um, overall, man, overall, look, do we know what the market gonna do? Do we know what these industries gonna do, from entertainment, like Netflix? Is Netflix finally in a V-shaped recovery? Is Twitch, or has Twitch really been up for grabs? And is that Amazon's next biggest play? Everything else that we got in store, man. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, man. Now, well, Netflix just suffered a major post earnings decline. Amazon just made a $970 million Twitch acquisition that's been valuated, and not actually on the, ironically, it seems it's ironic that I'm talking about Netflix and Amazon in the same conversation when they both are competitors in the streaming space, and Amazon acquired uh, Twitch, which is crazy. And then why don't we talk about the overall setup, that when all these companies gain wealth, how a family is gaining wealth, right? So, point of the show, change our family's money story. We're gonna talk about a few things, man. But the first thing that we're gonna talk about, is always my favorite segment. It's the first segment we do investor insights, bro. So, um, for me, because I'm pulling up the screen, you already know you gotta look at the charts. I love the charts. I love investing. I love business. Um, and going forward, that's all we doing. That's all we doing. But I want to talk about the context of how the overall market feels. The market is at a standstill and in between. Not for every company. Some things are impacted, some things are not. But the overall market feels like it's the market and the world. So on the market, I'm like, hey, yo, world, what we doing? What we deciding? Are we about to have a long year, great year? Short year, bad year? I done seen pretty much all your current issues. I done seen it. So what we doing? Are we coming to terms with the decisions that humanity has decided to make world? What we doing? And I think that's where the overall market is, for me. Now, context wise, and more technical and detail wise, Wall Street, via some articles, is struggling with two competing realities, right? So as you see, things that I say and things that Wall Street analysts, journalists, in the stock market world, debate the model. But officially, right? Um, competitive realities, right? So Wall Street is struggling with two competitive realities: artificial intelligence producing strong growth across cloud computing, semiconductors, data infrastructure, but the cost of participating in the AI race may cost them more than what they think, right? And investors are beginning to question whether the companies can produce the returns that they've been bolstering about, right? Does it justify the historical levels of capital that has been spent? At the same time, right? Oil prices is up. So we spend all this money and the economy is right behind. Hello. Um, and along with oil prices and international conflicts are creating renewed inflation concerns. Because at first we was like, all right, y'all went through it. Y'all had y'all spat. Iran, U.S., world, America, China. Ooh, y'all done with it? That's where the world was like, we everybody cool? We cool? And then it's like, no, we ain't cool. Oh, bro, what? So, but that's the international conflict in a nutshell is creating new inflation concerns, higher energy prices via like the everyday person concerned about the data centers, effect on transportation, manufacturing, the airlines, retail, house, like the overall economy. And then the way that it seems to be limiting the Federal Reserve's ability and more so decisions on lowering rate, not necessarily ability, right? So as of July 20, the week of July 23rd, there's a few things. Now here are the top 5 market movers or factors, right? Which is Alphabet. So Alphabet is the cloud business that continues to grow. But investors are again questioning the amount of money that the company plans to spend on AI infrastructure. Like, hey, yo, what is this money you spending? How much of this money is you going to be spending, and why are you spending this much money? Next is Tesla. Now, Tesla is back in the conversation because more educated investors who are equally the retail investors are asking, with the expectation that you put on SpaceX, how are you planning to fund it? And if you are going to utilize the rest of your companies to push the overall mission that includes SpaceX now, what will Tesla's be or part to play be, right? And Tesla remains a major market sentiment stock because it represents the electronic vehicles, robotics, autonomous driving, everything that is attached to AI and the uh, franchise player of what people expect AI to look like, do, be, right? And with weak cash flow or slowing vehicle performance, right, creating pressures on like, all right, if you slowing down, is everything else AI related slowing down, right? That seems to be the overall question. Number 3 is NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA remains to be the market leader. Of course, it's the number one, market shaker. And basically, it's the same question, right? So, how is AI doing on their end? Is the demand still the same for you, giving you the reason to produce more chips and be the leader in the space, right? Intel being the American trusted company or the American front running company, right? That represents the semiconductor turnaround story investors are watching to see how this domestic chip manufacturing thing will go. And then lastly, Netflix, and we will talk about, ironically, the plays, right? The play that I am in, I am out of Depot. I am out of the NVIDIA's play, but made my money, made 125%. Um, on the late July play. And then weirdly enough, side note, it's crazy because NVIDIA went from a low in the month of July, I'll put it like that, from 190 to 212 max, right? Amazing jump, amazing sense of reclaiming, and it moves the new floor of resistance, right? Support and resistance. The new floor of support at about really 205, right? But it started to get rocky again, like the 190 to 195. This is the week of this recording, right? So the week of, July 23rd, 20th. But it's crazy like that, right? So, but the top three things that are overall impacting the market, of course, is the AI capital spending. We spend all this money. Are we going to get a return on our money in AI? The oil and geopolitical risk of the world is running out of oil. What are we going to do? And that compounds with AI. Here's why. We haven't perfected and created a society that is running more on electric and robotic power. We don't live in that society yet. Since we don't live in that society yet, we still live in a society that works adjacent to oil and fuel. At least 70% of the cars in the market are still oil or fuel based cars. The trucking industry and transportation industry is still fuel based vehicles. We don't have time to have issues with fuel and oil. We just don't. And then where the economy stands, whether worldly, because not too long ago, they were like, yo, the Korean or Asian market had a strong correction or crash. Like it just went left. So the interest rates and the direction of, is the economy stable, or is the unspoken concerns, which are the spoken concerns of people who deal with analytics, run businesses, and are investors, like, yo, where are we? We understand inflation is a real thing. We understand that things are elevated. Yo, Federal Reserve, people who are directly impact our economy, what is this going to live like? Do I need to buy less milk? Do I need to buy less eggs? Like, what we doing, right? So that uncertainty is the third thing. From stocks, mortgages, credit cards, business loans, like consumer confidence, which is, the everyday person's fear of like, hey, yo, am I going to have enough to eat? Is my one job going to be enough to feed me, right? But with that being said, man, I talked a lot. I realized we didn't get into investing. My current trade, let's break this down. Netflix year to date. Let's do this. Almost forgot. I really wish this was Bluetooth, and I didn't realize that I bought a mouse that was not Bluetooth. It's cool. It's all good. So let's go to Robinhood Legends. Shout out to Robinhood. I really do, and we're gonna highlight something I've seen. Robinhood, but I'm very invested in Robinhood. I love the platform. Shout out to Charles Schwab and TradeView, whichever you like. Just saying, it's my thing. It's my thing. So, but in case, whenever you guys did see a chart, I actually do want to say that that chart is Robinhood Legends layout of the chart, right? So whenever I get deep into charting and really want to look things over, I'll hop on my laptop and I'll pull up Legends. And I will let you guys see this in a second. For those that are watching on YouTube, shout out Google. Dropping gems. Hope you listen. So let you see this. All right. Let's put it up on the stage. Boom. I really hope that you can see this. Okay, cool. I like that view better. Let's do that. All right. So, Netflix is currently trading around 60, 68, 60, 67, 20, between 67 and $69, right? Now, it is down. Let's see if the percentage will show. It doesn't show the percentage this way. I don't like that. All right. I'm going to do it this way. Why doesn't it show the percentage? Settings, layout. Mm-hmm. All right. So I really do want you to see the percentage. I'll tell you though. It's 40. It's the range of 40% from a year ago. And of course, laptop will run slow. Why do you do these things to me? All right, let's see if it'll give you the percentage this way. Got it. Okay, got it. I know how I can show you. All right, because I really do want you guys to see this. I think this is important. Share on the screen. You can actually see my call. But it is down 43% from November of 2025. When you go back a year. And when you go back a year, even even a year from around October, a year from today, it's down 42%. It's down 42%. In order for you to find a time frame when it was this low, when it was in the 60s, it was April. And that was the year of that big April drop. The big drop in April of 2024. So it's been like 2 years since Netflix been this low after the split, right? But as of today, I'm up 20%, or I'm up 10% on the call. The call is out till January of 2027. It's a 90 call. The break even is 91, right? I have over 176 days in order for this to reach $90. And I'm already up 10%. So if it starts walking towards 75, the high of the most recent high from the split that I've noticed was, I think, like 105, anywhere from 105 to 110. And it does need an overall 30% increase in order for it to reach my range of strike price. Now, is an important options lesson. Okay, I do have an option class coming up this Sunday, during this week of this recording, July 26th. I will do a request in Q&As throughout the webinar. I want to give you, while you're with me for up to about an hour, we're going in depth. We are going intermediate all day. Intermediate all day. So you can DM me on social media. Marcel Griffin Speaks on TikTok, Marcel Griffin. Like, so you can Google me and DM me, any questions you have. No questions is a dumb question. If you just started trading, just started investing. I am an investor. It's the very first thing when I ask, hey, bro, you got a budget? If you tell me no, I promise you this conversation isn't going to go as long. Because you should. If you're trying to trade and you trying to make this game ain't for quick money. Yes, you could make money, but this game is to be learned, it's to be studied, it's to be cherished. One thing I learned from my granddaddy is, hey man, put respect on money. Money can be your best friend, it can be your worst enemy. But you got to make a decision. You got to make a trade. Go buy my book, A Trade I Made, out on Amazon. You can get it anywhere at this point. Amazon ships it, you will get it. So with that, there is a bullish case for it, right? So the bullish case, and I'll just give you the main two for me. There's bullish cases up to 6 major reasons, but I'll give you my top 2 bullish cases. My top 2 for me is strong profitability. To this day, I know everybody has the famous Netflix and chill. You got a Netflix subscription. Same when you have an Amazon subscription, right? But it's a strong profitability, right? So the company produced an operating margin of above 33%, showing that the business remains highly profitable despite slow growth expectations. They've tried 2 things to get the consumer to pull in with the Netflix boxing and their premium subscriptions and incentives that only come out on Netflix, right? And they have some decent things. But the other main thing for me is that, right? So it's the live programming, new content, so the sports, the live events, creative partnerships, filming, global programming that could improve. So those are my 2 highlights. Overall, the Netflix is profitable. People keep their subscriptions, and the era and push for content that they are competing with top tier entertainment industries, Hollywood movies, so forth. Like, that's their bread and butter. Now, a bearish case, because I do want to be transparent. Stocks don't always go up. That doesn't mean that you can't make money while stocks goes down. It's called a put. But anything can impact any company, right? And with that, slow growth is a bearish case, right? And the I won't do that. I'll say I'll give you another two for the bearish case, which is competition for attention, right? So Netflix is competing against YouTube. Shout out to Google. Social media, gaming, traditional television. I don't think it can compete much against traditional television, but definitely YouTube, definitely social media, definitely gaming. Seeing that Instagram just came out with Instagram TV. So we'll probably find some way to get the show to you as much as possible for sure, but that's just the thing, right? Now, in my option, I look for movement in between the theta and data. So the time it takes, the amount of money that is lost or needs to be. So let's say like I lose, if it doesn't move in a progressive way, if it doesn't have the push, despite the volatility, right? Because volatility can be positive. Like you have positive volatility, so that means that it can move in a rapid pace um, for the stock, or it can move in a negative pace for the stock. But simply put, um, if I get $5 a day move right in between now, that's love, right? That's good. It's a good movement, right? But if it's costing me $5 a day in the stock, but let's say it's costing me $25 out of my money to get to stay in this play, is it worth it? If it's not moving quick enough and it's costing me every day that I sit in this play $25, $10, whatever case is, you got to weigh the risk to reward to see like, all right, is you gonna pull through on board, basically. But it's that. So let's get into. Oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about. I actually, because we had a whole episode about Stream University and the Wealth Club, but I do want to highlight this because it's one of the few moments of it touched me. She was an elder, the one that makes the jigsaw puzzles. I didn't watch her streams or anything like that, but I do want to highlight. I like the clips I've seen from her streams. It reminds me of what the culture missed in an elder. It reminds me of what the culture should respect in an elder. And I respect Kai for blessing her with $30,000. Any entrepreneur knows that any substantial amount of money that you are blessed with and granted with, when you're on a mission, when you're on a purpose, is a true blessing. And to give her $30,000, hopefully she implements. I think her passion for puzzles can be a very healing space, mental space. There can probably be some collaborations that she can do to improve her community in a healthy manner, maybe on a healthcare tip. And I think there's a few ways to elevate the mission vision of her dream and what she does with the puzzles. And I think that the $30,000 is an amazing way to push something that could serve millions, right? Now, while we're talking about stream universities, Twitch, Amazon put a $970 million purchase on Twitch. Is it brilliant? They said that they acquired it like 10 years ago. Is the play brilliant? I think so. Because of what a birth was, better late than never, right? 5 years into a $900 million debt, $900+ million bet, would you stick with it? Most people like, bro, I wanted my money back in year 3, not year 10. At the time, live streaming was still emerging scene, streaming entertainment thing, streaming period, right? What the streaming become versus what streaming was talked about. In 2014, streaming was talked about in the manner of you no longer need cable, premium cable, and you're going to stream the series, the movie, you're going to stream that on a data feed and particles and pull your favorite movie in seconds, right? Stream versus what streaming has become now. And the analysts later estimate that Twitch now could be worth a $46 billion. What does that mean? That means I placed under $1 billion to bet in acquisition, which means I claimed the company to get a $45 billion profit. Would I say my bet paid off? Bet paid off. Brings me back to your favorite host. When I own private and public companies, I'm betting that this space could be acquired if the founder agrees to sell for umpteenth amount of money. SpaceX play. I'm waiting on my SpaceX play, right? So where the people who owned SpaceX before they IPO, before they went public, and I don't have to work and just continue to impact my community. SpaceX play, right? SpaceX money. Am I still growing wealth the whole time? I'm an investor, bro. I'm a trader. I'm continuously going to go on this journey of wealth building, no matter what it is. But I definitely have some back end setups, SpaceX setups. Yeah. I think Amazon will still be around for a while. I think Amazon is still a play. I think Amazon is being impacted by geopolitical and tech pullbacks combined. I can say with high confidence that the things that are happening with the Iran war and anything that is impacting supply chain impacts Amazon, no matter how good they are at getting your package here in a day or two. Still, supply chain still going to impact Amazon. That's 1 + 1. And then we didn't even talk about the creator ownership and that whole spiel, but that was my highlight for that. And then my last bit of concept, I feel like we talked about this before, but I seen it and I thought it just was really, really dope if we family business. This show is called Wealthy Sibling. We should talk about family business. I seen a post that I don't know if I could pull it up, so I don't know how recent it is, but I at least want to show you guys that are looking on YouTube. Let's see. Let's see. See if it'll come up. Yeah. So I'm glad this is the one that actually came up, but there's two I want to show y'all before we get up out of here. All right, so this one says that after more than 7 years of legal battles, Nipsey Hussle's 2 children finally received their inheritance from the estate worth millions, right? And that is due to a family mindset about wealth, a constructive, collective, community, family member mindset that our goal is to do this as a family and we stay on one mission, one accord. And it's with the help of his brother who loves it deeply, Black Sam. Shout out Black Sam. I respect Black Sam to the Most High as an entrepreneur and the way that he moves with the marathon. The marathon is my entrepreneurial spirit. Like if I were to give you an artist, musician version of what my entrepreneurial spirit is like, it's the victory lap. It's the marathon, period. That's what it is. And he grew the estate from 2 million to 11 million. And his eldest daughter, who I know has a wealth mindset, will start attaining their inheritance. One thing I don't think is talked about enough, and this is going to be a hot clip, is the boundaries that was set, even though this is fictional, right? In power, boundaries that uh, St. Patrick set for his children, Tyreek and his family, through the trust, through the will, is 100% how I believe the culture communities need to operate. Like 100%, hey, bro, you need to go to college. You need to get your degree. You need to show me that you are a stable human being, a stable man as my son before you, because you're not going to be a spoiled brat. Like, God bless you in a different manner. You're not fit to waste a blessing when the majority of your community ends up in prison. And I don't say that disrespectfully. Like, the statistics that it is more likely, because of all the layers of difficulty and blocks, that you could end up in prison before you end up wealthy if you don't have the right guidance. I'm not one of the mentors that play with you. Like, I don't do that. So when it came to seeing that, I was like, yeah, you got to be like, you need to earn something. You need to be established. You need to show that the blessings that God gave you, in order for me to give you this, you will be a aid to society, not a hindrance. Straight like that. And then they have the other one, but it says the same thing, right? So for me overall, to sum up these conversations that we have in today, you need to tap into the class because it's free. You go into VanderWall to sign up and use the cash flow from options to build wealth as an investor. Because if you're going to run into the trading game, I at least want you to funnel the cash flow. Pay yourself first. The greatest feeling I had to today, as I put all my incomes together when I went from trading, is I put money into my Roth. I automate money into my long-term portfolio every single time income comes around. And it's the greatest feeling to pay myself first and become more established as I go through this wealthy journey. It's an immaculate feeling. It's an immaculate feeling. So with that, man, join the Wealthy from Options class to talk about cash flow. It's going to be intermediate. We're going to, of course, use the first 5 minutes to give you basics, Q&A, Greek letters, like we getting into it, so you can go out and start the waters, right? Because you're like paper trade, of course, to practice to get the feel of like, okay, this is how you put an option call together. This is a cover call. It's a limit order. It's a market order. There's a stop loss order, right? When your original option contracts pulls back and you lose 20%, it cuts you off. And honestly, you have 80% of your money. And I'd rather 80% of my money than, none of my money, right? And yes, sometimes the the correction will, or the pullback will bleed through your stop loss. It's a real thing. Like, you can put it, and sometimes you just might not feel because the volatility or impact of that specific stock just ran right through it, right? You couldn't even trigger the call. But we'll talk about all that. We'll talk about all that. And if you are beginning your journey, you need to get a trade. I mean, every teenager that is in high school right now, for me personally, you need to buy a trade I made. You need to read the book. If you don't think I understand your life just as overall teen, but especially if you come from the city, especially if you come from this thing called the trenches, you don't think I understand your life as a teen, bro. I talk intellectually because I studied, but bro, I took a lot from the gutter, from the trenches. Like, this ain't that. I chose to trade one lifestyle, one way I thought was working, for a better one. I don't have the same worries, woes, and concerns because I traded my lifestyle for a better one, right? So appreciate everybody for listening, tuning in. This is your boy Marcel, host of the Wealthy Sibling, and we gone, man. Appreciate y'all. Tap in, like, share, subscribe. We out here.